Hey, what's up, you guys? So this is Gabby, and I hope you guys are well out there, both physically and mentally. And that's really a part of what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about the COVID-19 virus and how it may be affecting social workers in their everyday life, as well as how they interact with their clients and day-to-day activities and tasks. So before I jump into this topic, I want to kind of introduce myself and talk a little bit about my experience, my background, so that you guys know where I'm coming from when I am delivering this information. So first and foremost, I am not a doctor. I am not in the medical field. So I will not be giving medical advice in this video. And there are a ton of videos on YouTube where doctors are talking about the coronavirus from their knowledge base and from their perspective. So in this video, I'll be talking about it from a social work perspective. I have had roles in the public health sector, working with partners to come up with solutions to different public health issues. I've also created and managed programs that had the goal of tackling large-scale social and community health issues. And I currently work in the foundation space where I provide support and help to connect nonprofits and community organizations that have an emphasis on community and social health with resources that they need to continue doing the great work that they do. So that's kind of the background and the space that I'm coming from. So as I mentioned before, I will not be giving medical advice, but I will be linking great resources below. So today I just want to make a video providing some strategies and tips to social workers to help them to work with their clients during difficult times. So first, it's totally understandable for both our clients and ourselves to be fearful during this time because this is a new virus and there's not a lot of information out there. So naturally, as people, we are fearful about what we don't understand, right? So I think it's really important for us as social workers to arm ourselves with valid and credible information so that we can have more confidence in what's going on and also share that information and share those resources to our clients that may be struggling because they don't totally understand what's happening. And quite frankly, those that are most vulnerable, those who are of a lower income, they are probably going to be affected by this the most, because if you look at history, when it comes to these kind of huge social issues, usually the most vulnerable populations are hit the hardest. I want to also touch on how you as a social worker may be experiencing some changes in your day-to-day life as it pertains to your job. So me, I would say 50% of my job actually involves running programs, being at volunteer events, being at sponsorship fundraiser events, being in large groups of 100 plus people sometimes. So right now I kind of feel a bit stressed out and like I have a emptiness inside of me because I'm not able to really delve deep into my work and I can't do 50% of my everyday job duties because everything is being canceled. This week alone, I had 4 huge events that I was going to be working at, but they were all canceled and I keep getting cancellation emails for next week and, events for the week after. I know that can be difficult for social workers because when you work in this space, you also do it because it provides you with a sense of personal gratification and fulfillment, right? We feel a very close tie to our work and being out there in the community and with the community. So I want to just acknowledge that I am feeling it myself, and I know that it can be tough out there for social workers who kind of feel this lack or feeling like you're not being useful because you're not able to work with your community in a way that maybe you used to. But just know that this social distancing is very important in the long run. Just understand that it's in the best interest of our communities, ourselves, and our clients. But I think it's really important for us to try to find ways that we can still be involved in helping our community during these times, how we can still support others, even if it's not through your job, but it's just, through your social network and your social circle. Because I think, that's the only way we're really going to stay grounded and, feel that we are connecting to who we are as social workers. So me doing videos like this is one way that I'm trying to cope with not being as involved with my work right now. And I know there are a lot of us out there who work in roles where we're not able to work from home. So we're still required to go in for work, and we may still be required to work with a bunch of people and interact with a large amount of people. If you feel like you're being put in unsafe situations where your health is at risk, it's important to advocate for yourself and have a genuine conversation with your director about how you're feeling and see if you guys can come to some type of agreement on how you can have the safest work environment possible during these times. And also, as I mentioned before, it's important for social workers to stay informed about the virus, but please, you guys, try not to get too wrapped up into social media and mainstream media as well, because at the end of the day, we have a bunch of people on social media who are speaking from their opinions and their thoughts. It's really important to get your information from credible sources such as the World Health Organization and the Center for Disease and Control, your local health department. These are the sources that are really going to provide you with information that is most accurate. And it's best to give yourself some breaks. Please remember to still practice self-care and do activities that help you to forget about what's happening for a while. And I know it's really hard because everyone's out there talking about the coronavirus. No matter where you go, I'm getting updates on my phone constantly about the virus. So it's really hard for me to take a step back and to not think about it 24/7. But I really, for my own mental health, I have to do it. So doing a social media fast for a few hours a day, whatever can work to kind of get you out of that vicious cycle of thinking about this constantly, I think is, good to do during this time. And one thing I also want to talk about is working with youth. So I actually manage a youth mentorship program, and I have sat down and really thought about how can I speak to them in a way that can make them feel secure? Because a lot of our youth probably never went through anything like this before and have no historical context of any type of outbreaks or widespread diseases or illnesses. I mean, a lot of adults have never even went through this. I am going to link a resource below that will help you to explain what's going on to youth that you may work with. I think it's important to listen to our youth and to hear out their fears, but also be that voice of reason and help to level set with them and explain to them that we have government task force, we have amazing professionals who 24 hours a day, they are doing work, putting in work to try to get to the root of this problem. They are working around the clock to find solutions. So, just explain to our youth that this is not something that we are facing alone. This is something that we're working on as a society. And if there are some myths that they are believing that's not true, walk them through why it's not true. And some of the youth that we work with, they may even say comments that are kind of xenophobic and untrue. So, just kind of explain to them that this is not a reason to discriminate against people of Asian descent. I think this can be an important learning opportunity. Having fear or a heightened sense of fear simply from being around Asian people or East Asian people can lead to prejudiceness, xenophobic behaviors, and it's better to just stay safe and hygienic just in general and to not prejudge people simply from the outside. And also one thing that I think would be a good idea is for you to call your local health department and ask them questions so you can get an idea of what the process is to get a test, if someone thinks they may have the virus, when to go to the ER. Also, how do you do a quarantine and when is a quarantine necessary? And the reason I say that you should probably call your health department and try to get this information is because it can be a long and daunting process to get it. Actually, yesterday I called to get more information because I recently came back from international travel and I wanted to know if it was important for me to quarantine. Even though I didn't go to one of the high-risk countries, I was just curious and I had some questions. And I literally was given several different numbers to call before I was able to talk to someone who actually could provide me with some information. So now I have the direct source and the exact number because I went through the process of trying to get that information myself. So now this is less work that your clients have to do. Every health department differs depending on the state, city, and municipality that you live in. So it's best to contact the health department in your area to figure out these answers. Also, it's so important to check on our seniors at this time. If you're working with senior populations, I know that you understand how important this is, but even if it's seniors that are in our social network, our neighbors, our family members, definitely check up on them, make sure that they're doing okay. And also, kind of talk to them about the importance of staying vigilant and aware when they are in public spaces, including religious institutions and churches, because I know a lot of senior citizens and older people are finding comfort in going to religious ceremonies and going to churches, but that is a place that can have a large amount of people in it. So maybe you can connect them to some type of online resource so that they can still get that comfort. So, this is just a conversation you may want to have with a senior citizen in your life. On another note, understand that this situation may impact your client's cash flow and their income security because, as I mentioned before, a lot of lower income people are going to be hit the hardest, and some of your clients, they may not be able to work because their jobs are shutting down the offices or the location until the virus is under control. And if you are a more, working class person or someone with lower income, your job may not provide you with money during this time when you're not able to work. So I think it's important for you as a social worker to learn about different organizations in your community that may be providing resource gaps and financial support for individuals with a lower income during these times. Also looking into your local food banks and shelters and to get an idea of what a process is to get connected to these resources are important because some of your clients may need these resources, unfortunately, sooner rather than later, given the situation that's happening. And also to kind of tie this back to what I was talking about regarding the youth, currently in my city and state, the public school system is closed down until further notice. And I'm sure this is happening all around the country and the world. So this impacts students from lower income families because they're no longer able to have that free breakfast and lunch that their family may have been relying on. So that's another reason to reach out to your local food banks to figure out what the process is for people to come in and take advantage of the food resources, because you may have to provide this to families that you work with and the youth that you work with. And also I want to mention that I was on the NASW's website, the National Association of Social Workers website, and they had a lot of great points as well for how you can best work with your clients during this time. And they also gave some great tips on how you can keep your practice and your work environment clean right now. And also they talk more about what our role as social workers are during these times. So I am going to link the NASW article on this topic below. And I'm also going to link some other resources that I think will be very important for you, just so you can have this for your personal knowledge and also so you can have this information to share with your clients and your community. So yeah, I just really felt that it was important for me to make this video because I think every field and profession is going to be impacted by the COVID-19 virus a little bit differently. So from my perspective, this is, some strategies that I think social workers can use right now in the work that they do. Hopefully this video gave you something, new to think about. And as I mentioned before, I am not an expert on the coronavirus or on pandemics, anything like that. I'm just speaking from my perspective as a social worker with a background in community health and urban development. Yeah, as I mentioned, please look at the links below. I'm going to try to insert some links that assisted me in, better understanding my role as a social worker and, the illness in general. So thank you guys so much for watching. I know these are hard times, and make sure you monitor your own health, because if we aren't well, we can't be there for anyone else. So thank you so much for watching, you guys, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.